about Venus and Serena. The fact is they show up at the big events and seem to do things, even though they've been hurt and all of the various things. She played only 12 events last year, Venus, and wins Wimbledon.
Look, neither Venus nor Serena can claim that they're injured because they play too much tennis. I mean, that's not. But they both won a major last year. Serena won this one. Venus won Wimbledon. It's hard. It's crazy. It's really hard to know what's going on. I would certainly say that Venus looks a lot fitter than Serena. I mean, Serena has shown up here. A lot of people are surprised that she's carrying so much weight. But the fact is that, you know, Serena looked really dodgy here last year. Struggled, scratched her way through the first couple of rounds, and then came on through and won the thing. And I think Venus, I think they're both looking pretty good, actually.
Well, they've had a remarkable career to this point, and it just seems that they can kind of still turn up and play in the big events and win them in their own way, their own style, as they've done in the past.
And they've made it very clear, Tim, both Venus and her kid sister have made it clear that they want to play the big tournaments, and they're going to peak around the majors. And, you know, that's at a great disadvantage to the rest of the tournaments. A lot of the guys do the same thing. It's always bothered me, really, that even the very best player, Pete Sampras used to talk about it all the time, whatever. All he cares about is winning, are the majors, and that's why another tip of my conical hat to Roger Federer. The guy won 11 tournaments last year, you know, including a couple of, like, every time he shows up, he wants to win. And Rafael Nadal, again, he won, you know, those guys come to play. And that's not always the case, it seems, with the Williams sisters and a lot of the other players, by the way.
Right, absolutely. Well, last year, of course, she got, Venus did, we're back to talking about her now, in the round of 16 against Alicia Malik, who, the Australian player who seemed just ready to have herself a great year. And
yes, of course, she won the first set and actually was able to take out Venus Williams here in straight sets. She was such an exciting player, an amazing presence. These are two big, tall, hard-hitting players playing a remarkable brand of tennis, and for anyone to dismiss a competitor like Venus Williams in straight sets says an awful lot. Unfortunately, just a couple of months later, Malik got an inner ear infection that really laid her low, and she hasn't played since. In fact, she's here working for Channel 7 Australia.
Going to take this year off.
Isn't that's tragic, really?
It is, yeah.
She was just so much fun to watch.
In her best form. Well, there is a young opponent out here that actually Venus Williams has played before. They met once in the tournament at Istanbul, one of Venus's 2 victories last year, the other being Wimbledon, of course, and her name is Tsvetana Pironkova from Bulgaria. She's just 18, but she moved up to number 94 in the world from number 295 at the start of 2005 season. So she's made some strides. She's yet to win a WTA title, of course, but she did get to 2 semifinals, albeit in smaller tournaments. Istanbul, where she beat Megan Shaughnessy before losing to Venus, and then the semifinals again at the Palermo tournament.
First time she's ever played in a 2-week tournament. And certainly not a great draw for her, but surely it will help that she's already faced Venus Williams before. She knows how hard-hitting Venus is. She knows just what she's going to be facing. She knows how much court Venus is able to cover. And that's something that young Casey Delacroix was not able to enjoy against Davenport. It's not just that players like Davenport and Venus hit so hard. It's that because they hit so hard, you have to move so much harder. And it's the movement against the top players that can really make the younger players struggle.
So we'll be underway with this first round match at the Vodafone Arena here at the Australian Open in a moment. They have the most fun down here, down under, for the Australian Open. People are willing to get all dressed up and look silly and act silly and generally have a silly time. It's a great atmosphere. And coming up later, Martina Hingis. Why are we interviewing her? Well, she's playing here, folks. Believe it or not, she's back.
And it sounds as though Jennifer Capriati might be coming back in a couple of months' time. She's had wrist surgery and shoulder surgery of late, and she didn't hit one professional tennis ball in all of 2005, but it looks as though she's trying to ready herself for the NASDAQ in Key Biscayne, Florida in March.
Tennis fans love to see both of those women back, and this is a real comeback try at age 25 for Martina Hingis. And, of course, 25-year-old Venus Williams ready to go. You saw a wrap on her upper left thigh, And we don't know that that's anything other than a preventive measure. No report to the contrary. She was bothered with a knee, of course, and hasn't played a serious match since last September, withdrawing from that Beijing tournament because of the knee injury. Played at an exhibition in Hong Kong, her only lead up to the Australian Open.
Took a spill in her second match in Hong Kong and retired, and hasn't played since.
Pironkova, the opening serve, and has that return down the line from Venus Williams to love 15. 18-year-old Tsvetana Pironkova from Plovdiv in Bulgaria. She's coached by her father Kirill. Both parents are athletes. Her father a champion canoeist, and her mother a champion swimmer in Bulgaria.
15
and wide for 15 all.
He's a canoe guy. He's a canoe guy.
Yeah, a canoe guy. Yes, he is.
You know, we keep hearing all the Russian athletes, their fathers were, you know, hammer throwers and Olympians, and, you know, she's got a canoe guy.
A canoe guy and a swimmer, so they're very water-oriented, the family. She's been playing tennis since she was 4 years old. Her dad got her started. And played competitively at age 6.
$15-30.
Fans always curious to see what the Williams sisters will wear each tournament, especially in the Grand Slams. So Venus, I'm sure, hasn't disappointed in kind of a canary yellow outfit for the first round.
30
visor. 30 all. Pironkova with the wins over Megan Shaughnessy and Anna Smashnova, Yelena Kostanic in her young career. She's won 5 ITF titles. That's the kind of minor league circuit, if you will, that you move up to the WTA events from. 6 times to the finals there. So she's had success at that level, plus the 2 semifinals on the WTA tour. Tier 3 event at Istanbul and semifinals at Palermo. Williams with a break point here in the opening game.
Venus won that tournament. After beating Pironkova, she went on and took that Istanbul title, and then, of course, won Wimbledon as well. Serena's only win last year was a major, the Australian. So between the two of them to have only taken 3 titles last year is really something.
Well, they didn't make the season-ending women's tennis championships. The Sony Ericsson WTA Tour arriving at the end of its championship without either of the Williams sisters in it was hard to accept, actually.
Well, they're on the same half of the draw. That's why they're both playing today. And they've got to get up their rankings so that they don't have to keep meeting early on in the majors. There's a footfall called and a break immediately for Venus Williams.
That's tough for the youngster to fall that way in the opening game. Now Venus Williams up 1-love in serving. They'll change ends and play will be continuous. .37-10 match record. We said only 12 events that she played last year. 5th Grand Slam title.
Serena Williams played even fewer than that. She played in only 10 tournaments. And in only half of them, in only 5 of the tournaments that Serena Williams played in, did she finish. She either withdrew or retired during the tournament. So, as I say, I'd sure like to see 2 healthy Williams sisters in 06, you know, regain the spots in the draws and in the rankings that they deserve to be in.
But they did get a television series done together, and they got a book published.
I'd rather watch them play tennis on TV.
Big crowd in here, and Vodafone Arena to watch Venus Williams, the number 10 seed in this tournament, ranked number 10 in the world. Here she comes in. Trademark swinging volley knocks that off.
15 love.
Pironkova was out here early this morning, well before even the men warmed up who had the opening match. She was on court here at about 9 o'clock for her warm-up.
Well, it's a pretty big court. She's not used to playing in these major arenas, so it was smart of her to come out here and get used to the sight lines of the Vodafone Arena.
Venus, we assume, warmed up on an outside court. She was not in here this morning.
Martina Hingis plays her first match here tomorrow night, and she'd heard that there could be some rain, so she was out practicing on Labor Arena court last night with the roof closed, assuming that it might rain. I mean, talk about preparation. Boy, do I miss her.
Oh, we mentioned earlier, though, we were doing a special interview with her later today on her coverage, because she is a big story here. One of the most popular women's champions ever, and
her mouth is already in mid-season form.
Yes.
You know, her game probably needs a little bit of work, but she's still just hilarious to listen to. Speaks her mind, has plenty of opinions.
Point from 2 love for Venus Williams here.
Missed that one wide.
Pironkova got the ball down on her as she was coming to the net, but it's nice to see her attacking like that. It's usually when she's playing her best, following in a shot like that.
Well, Pironkova was on the defense there, but you're right. She dipped it low enough to force a defensive reply from Venus. It's going to be difficult for Pironkova. Her game is so much smaller than Williams. It will be hard for her to dictate. So she better. That's what she should do.
Well done.
Yeah, she should try very hard to declare herself as quickly in the points as possible. And the best place to do that is on some kind of a, hopefully some softer second serves that give her a little bit of a look into the rally.
Good serve from Venus there.
Advantage Williams.
Game point once more.
Good body language from Venus Williams. I mean, she's quite obviously taking this first round match seriously, and she's just dialed in right away. Just controlling every aspect of this match so far.
Game Williams.
And the hold for 2 love. Opening set. Well, lots more tennis ahead, of course, as we begin our Australian Open coverage today. Later on, you'll see Serena Williams against Na Li, the Chinese player, Monday at 3:30 a.m. We know you can get up for that because you really care. And Andy Roddick against Michael Lammer, young Swiss player. That's tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Our first round coverage continues Tuesday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Looking over the skyline of Melbourne. And we've got lots of live coverage. You asked for it. We're giving it to you. And we just admire the fact that you love it so much. You're going to get up at those odd hours around the United States to see a Grand Slam tournament from Australia. 1:20 p.m. here today on the opening day.
Let for serve.
Pironkova prepared for the Open, playing in the tournament at Canberra, but lost first round. This is her first ever Grand Slam appearance. Venus eager to get into the net quickly, and that's something I think that sometimes critics of her approach to matches say she should come in more. I mean, she's great when she comes in. Keep the pressure on. Looks like in this match she's planning to do that. She was coming in behind that one as well. Draws the air.
Putting so much early pressure on her young opponent, playing in her first ever major. And this is it's sort of like when we were watching Casey Delacroix against Lindsay Davenport. You just figure the kid must be over there thinking, God, let me get on the scoreboard. Let me get, you know. So Venus is keeping her very unsettled.
Good deep drive again on the forehand side. She's been very accurate with the forehand, Venus Williams, which sometimes troubles her. 2 break points for a 3-love lead in the first. One breaker saved. Of course, they naturally ask Pironkova if she hangs out with, knows, practices with, learns from the famed Maleva sisters of Bulgaria, and turns out she has played at least one match, perhaps more, Fed Cup with Maggie, who's now also left the tour, as I understand. Last of the 3 Maleva sisters. Good serve that time.
She's so much slighter than her opponent, but it was beautiful form. Pironkova led that toss into the court so she could use all the extension she's got. She's taken some deep breaths, trying to relax here a little bit and hold serve. That's smart when you're going for a big one, to go right down the middle of the court with a net 6 inches lower.
Got the baseline. 3rd break point.
Wingspan and heavy shot making from Venus Williams, it just shrinks the court against Pironkova.
Back deuce again.
Unfortunately for the young kid, she will have to rely on errors from Venus Williams just to get dug into this match. Now she's trying to control the pace. This is nice, mature stuff from the 18-year-old. She's taking herself seriously, and that's what you really look for in these kind of matches. It seems so lopsided.
Advantage Williams.
Knocks that one long again. Good deep pressure from Venus Williams. Been able to just nail the baseline with those ground shots.
What Martina Hingis says is the biggest difference she notices in the couple of years she's been gone from the tour is that's the relentlessness, she says, of the hitting of all the players, not just the top players. It's relentless, she says.
Okay, Williams.
So Venus Williams with a break and a 3-love lead here in the first set over Tsvetana Pironkova, Bulgaria, and the folks enjoying the great outdoors. French Open, the last time that Venus Williams faced a Bulgarian player.
Cecil Karantancheva, only 15 years old, took out Venus Williams in the third round, and due credit to her, but Venus played so poorly in this match. So many errors from everywhere. It's amazing that a couple of weeks later, Venus Williams won Wimbledon. The big story, though, the coda to this great win of Karantancheva is that she came up dirty in a drug test from the French Open and is now out of the game for 2 years. And of course, Mariano Puerta on the men's side at last year's French Open, the finalist there losing to Nadal, he came up dirty at the French as well. He's out for 8 years.
Those are severe penalties. The ITF making a real statement there in terms of their doping, anti-doping efforts. Venus jumps on that.
Karantancheva not only loses all the money that she won from the French Open, but all the money she won after the French Open as well. So you're right, very heavy fine. She was only 15 last year, so obviously she'll still be a teenager after her 2-year ban from the game. Very bizarre circumstances. She's saying that the nandrolone found in her body was because she was pregnant at the time. So keep in mind, this is a 15-year-old kid, and that was her excuse for coming up dirty.
Quite a bizarre story all around, and a sad one.
It's a terrible story.
As much as anything more you can say.
By the way, the doping committee said that that wasn't even true, even though her father backed her up on that.
Quickly to 40-love for Venus Williams and a 4-love lead in this opening set. Pironkova backed away from the baseline here against the service of Venus Williams on the first serve. That's her first forehand miss, and we commented that, of course, that's been an off and on struggle on that side for Venus Williams, particularly in recent years of her career, but she's been hitting it solidly in this match so far until that one.
Left for serve. Williams.
And Venus with an easy hold and a 4-love lead here in the opening set against Tsvetana Pironkova, Bulgaria. Well, women's college basketball, ESPN2's coverage continues Monday night. The LSU Lady Tigers take on the Connecticut Huskies, two traditionally strong teams. Women's college basketball, part of Home Court Advantage on ESPN2, Monday at 7 Eastern, the exclusive home of the Women's NCAA Championships. For more information, log on to ESPN.com. Pironkova serving at love 4 and wanting to get on the board here desperately against the number 10 seed, but 5-time Grand Slam champion Venus Williams.
Love 15.
3 Wimbledon championships. 2 Wimbledon championships, I should say, and I was right the first time. 3 Wimbledons and 2 US. And her 5 yet to win here, interestingly.
A couple of years ago, she got to the finals of the French, of course, losing to her sister. There aren't that many major titles missing. In fact, the only other one that Venus hasn't won is a mixed doubles title at Wimbledon. And honestly, I'd love to see Venus and Serena go back to playing doubles. I think that they haven't played doubles in the last couple of years has truly affected the quality of their games. It's affected their serving. It's affected their volleying. You know, I mean, I'd love to see them. And of course, they say they don't ever feel lately that they've been fit enough to enter more than one discipline in a major, but
30-15.
I respectfully disagree with that. I think if they played more doubles, they'd get keener earlier, and both of them would get their serves back in a big way.
Not to mention how entertaining they are to
and
watch.
how much fun they had.
Yeah, exactly.
They really enjoyed it.
They enjoy it, and that makes the crowd enjoy watching them too. There's a different atmosphere when they play doubles together. It's almost kind of painful to watch them play against each other in singles, because it's clearly so difficult.
That's
for
right,
them.
and you're right, when they're on the same side of the net.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yes.
It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be entertaining. Well, Pironkova, a point away from getting on the board here in the first set. Let's see if she can hold on at 40-15.
Game, Pironkova.
And she does. So Pironkova on the board, and the crowd gives her a little extra applause. And there's a look at the folks outside enjoying the cloudy but warm weather here in Melbourne, Australia. Well, we're at the Vodafone Arena court here, and you can see there's a huge crowd on hand to watch Venus Williams, the number 10 seed in the tournament. That's just hard to swallow, isn't it? Some of the great stars are all bronzed up here around the garden area out in front of Rod Laver Arena. You'll see all of the stars of the past. Gerald Patterson, an early star of the Australian Championships. Look at that. Of course, Rod Laver, John Newcomb, Fred Stolle, all of the great names of the past are enshrined, if you will, right out on the garden area here in front of the arena. And see the fans stop and take photos of those busts every day. Cameras are clicking. Venus Williams serving at 4-1.
15 love.
And there's John Newcomb. John will be over here this week, of course, at the Australian Open, as he always is.
You've blown the suds off a few with him.
Yes. He's better at it than I am.
Yeah, well.
Volley winner by Venus Williams. In fact, John and his fabulous wife Angie are coming to Sun Valley, Idaho to ski with us in March. They love to ski. They're good skiers. Nice touch there by Venus. 30 love. That looked wide. You can see Pironkova giving a questioning look down the line. And it's 40 love for Venus Williams. Well, this is day one at the Australian Open, and all of the stars in action over today and tomorrow in first round play. Maria Sharapova will be playing later today. Among many others, getting the tournament underway. American Robbie Ginepri with a win in his pocket, straight sets over Meltzer. And the number 4 seed on the women's side, Maria Sharapova, meets Sandra Klössel from Germany in women's first round action upcoming. That's wide.
Williams.
And the game to Venus Williams. 5 games to 1 here in the first.
Williams leads 5 games to 1.
What do you think of Martina Hingis' chances? We talked about the interview coming up later to talk about her comeback. You'll see that here on our ESPN coverage. What are your thoughts when you get a chance Mary, to comment? Well played.
Very nicely played, and that's the kind of stuff that Hingis is going to have to do. Rip the ball and go for her shots again earlier in rallies than she wants, perhaps. I mean, Hingis's game, you know, she's the same height as Justine Henin-Ardenne, but not nearly as powerful as the Belgian. She doesn't have nearly the same kind of serve as the 5'5.5" Justine Henin-Ardenne. So obviously people are going to go to try to attack her. as much as possible. She plays Vera Zvonareva tomorrow in her first-round match. That's not an easy first-round match, but it's winnable.
15.
You know, Zvonareva, we've all watched Vera. She's very emotional out there, and Hingis is just the kind of player who can get inside her head and, you know, make her start questioning herself and throwing a racket and crying and all that stuff that tends to come from Zvonareva matches. But I think she'll have a tough time, but I'm just so delighted to see her back. I think she looked around the landscape of women's tennis in the last couple of years, realized how infrequent, you know, the attendance was so low from so many of the top women players. No one was dominating. I think she realized, you know what, I still love this game. Her feet are feeling better after all the problems she's had with her feet and the surgery she's had. And I think, you know, Hingis is one of those players. We were discussing earlier about how a lot of the top players only want to play the... Hingis loved playing tennis. That's why she had an inflated #1 ranking for so long. Because she would play... Oh, you want me to play field? Oh, sure, I'll go to field. I'll go to Philly. I'll go to... oh, yeah, I'll go. She loved playing, and that's why her ranking stayed so high for so long. So if she can be fit enough to play a lot of tennis, I think she could be a force this year.
Backhand error from Venus Williams, and Pironkova, the 40-15. We're going to have that interview upcoming with Martina Hingis. You'll hear from her about why she's back and what she thinks she can do. So far taken a somewhat conservative approach, I think correctly so, just saying, well, I'm not planning a whole season. I'm going to see how things go, but I think I can beat a lot of these players, including some of the top ones. So it's going to be very interesting to hear her and to watch her when she starts the tournament tomorrow.
That's wide.
40-30.
And you just can't let that happen if you're Pironkova. That's the kind of... You've just got to shut down. You got to try to hang on to your serve as quickly as possible against someone like Venus Williams, who could be down against your serve 40-love and still think she's got a chance to break you.
Right. And she does.
Look at that. It's already back to deuce. So
yeah.
And again, it was fairly neutral rally. It's
right.
Not like, you know. Here's what Hingis was able to do in her young, short career. She loved playing the Australian. She played in 6 straight finals here, won it 3 times, and that's why she said to Mary Jo Fernandez last night, you know, I feel like I'm defending, even though the last time she won it was a couple of years ago.
That's kind of fun. And, you know, the crowd loves to watch her play. I mean, she's an entertaining player. She always was, because she's such a thoughtful shot maker, and she plays the game differently. And
right.
And you know, that's why they love her. And she was a great competitor, but she had such guile. And
well, I watched her, and here's another game point now for Pironkova. I watched her play a lot of World Team Tennis last summer, and I mean, she's so good in singles, doubles, and mixed, which is why she was the MVP of the team tennis season last year, and she just loved being out there. She loved it. She fought well, and she got herself into nice shape. Of course, she'll be facing much tougher players here in the bigs. Much more weight of shot. That's nice.
Well done. Nice get. Is it?
Oh, that's good. She held on.
Good job, and that brings the crowd alive here. Pironkova, a nice touch from Venus sneaking in, and the youngster saw that coming and makes the winner and gets the 5-2 here in the first set against the 10 seed, Venus Williams. We're back at the Vodafone Arena. Venus Williams up 5-2 against Tsvetana Pironkova from Bulgaria. Managed to hold on to her serve there and win her second game of this opening set.
Nice numbers that Venus is putting up. Her first serve is at over 70%. She's even on winners and unforced errors. She's got a couple of breaks already.
So Venus Williams will serve for this first set at 5-2.
Nice.
Nice point. Both players like the look of Venus Williams' forehand in this match.
15 love.
She's doing a nice job, Tim. She's staying on top of the ball, tracking it early so she can really hit down on those forehands. Get herself to the net.
Three points from the first set. Best effort in the past here at the Australian in 2003. Made it to the finals where she lost to her sister Serena. Last year, as we detailed earlier, she lost the round of 16 here to Alicia Malik, the unfortunate Australian player who's out all of this season trying to shake off an inner ear infection and try and get herself back on the tour next year. All.
Malik is the one who had what I thought was the quote of the tournament last year. She was asked how she was able to, against Venus, to be so aggressive and so forceful and, you know, not get tight and choke. And she said, well, I just had to go for it, mate. You know, you can't, don't die wondering.
Right.
Remember that? Don't die wondering.
30-15 second serve. She got a good smack at that one. Longest point of the match, just long, from the Bulgarian player Pironkova. She's raised her confidence level a little bit here. Set point, two of them for Venus Williams.
Let second serve.
Took advantage of that serve that sat up a little bit. Gave Pironkova a chance to really give this one a ride. You have to be alert to your chances, and she was there. It's still set point for Venus.
First set, Williams.
And Venus Williams prevails after a bit of a struggle in that game. And she has the first set in hand, 6-2. And let's go to Chris Fowler.
Still in the first game of the set, number 2. We come back live on day 1 here on ESPN2. Relevant Vodafone.
15 love.
Thanks, Chris. Well, the young Bulgarian Pironkova held the service for the first game of set number 2, down a set, of course, 6-2. Venus Williams winning the first. And Venus serving now, top of your screen in her canary yellow outfit for the Australian. And that's long.
15-0.
Pironkova, I thought, finished the first set rather well. Even though she lost it, she seemed to be playing with a little more, not so much intensity is the right word, but just a little more confidence, being willing to kind of stand there and slug a little more, and maybe she got Venus's attention somewhat. We'll see what happens here in set 2.
$15-30.
A little help there with the double fault. First of the match by Venus.
Let first off.
Venus Williams had a first serve
15,
percentage
40.
in the low 70s in that first set. Now it's down to the low 60s. Double fault and some second serving in here has allowed Pironkova to have her first couple of break points of the match. She lined herself up for that winner.
Yeah.
And as we were talking before about how Venus could be returning and down 40-11, still thinking she can win. Break the serve. She feels the same way when she's serving and she's down low.
Right.
So Pironkova better make her move here, because Venus's serving has come down. There it is.
Their first break of serve at a 2-love lead here in the second. The crowd, of course, in Australia particularly, but almost everywhere, will cheer for the underdog and try to extend the match time, and so they're going to give her a lot of encouragement here against Venus Williams, the obvious favorite.
Think about
seed
this
in this tournament.
I think more than any other major, Tim, what we see at the Australian is that the fans are so diverse. There's a huge Greek population. They're crazy for the Swedes here. There's a big Croatian population. Italians.
Yes.
So I think it might be the noisiest of all the majors.
I think so too. Yeah. And they just enjoy it. They're knowledgeable fans because tennis is so popular in Australia. Lots of folks play it, and they know what's going on out there, and they enjoy the entertainment aspect of it, so they get their money's worth.
Mm-hmm.
It's the whole idea. All Pironkova, she could hold on here and get up 3-love, a break. Could make this interesting. There's a look at what lies ahead. The American Granville against Verley. The winner will meet the winner here. Good deep drive.
Mary Jo Fernandez called it.
30-15.
It was a very clean, aggressive first set from Venus, and her game has dropped down enough for Pironkova to really get a toehold now. 2 points from a 3-love lead for the young Bulgarian.
She's 18 years old, ranked number 94 in the world, and coming off a good season last year that saw her leap from number 295 up to 94.
That's out.
40-15.
And a point now from a 3-love lead for Pironkova in the second. 5'11", tall, slender girl from Plovdiv, Bulgaria. Her father is her coach, but he's not a tennis player per se.
He's a canoe guy.
He's a canoe guy. Yes, a very successful champion.
Her brother is traveling here with her.
All in the family. She wasn't sure about the call. Venus steps inside the line on these second serves. And that paid off.
(40-30).
Nice aggression off the return and a deliberate volley. He just wants to see if she can sneak out and break her again. 40-15 now to 40-30. There it is. Wow, 3-zip.
Well, yes, the crowd again whistles and cheers. They love it. We'll be right back. Lots of great food, better than that. Thai food, the Asian influence in the last few years here in Melbourne. Oh man, I tell you what, there's some wonderful Asian food to dine on in Melbourne, which is a great restaurant city. We're learning over the 3 years now. Venus Williams.
She's going to have to step it up, Tim. She's only had 2 winners in this set against 9 errors. Pironkova, who couldn't make much of a dent in that first set, has fewer errors and 4 winners. Again, her game is so much quieter, but because Venus's game has dropped down,
it's given some confidence to.
Exactly. She's playing at a level where Pironkova,
look at that.
Again, look at that.
She's jumped on a couple of second serves with real confidence going after it.
Love
Venus
15.
said love 15, love 3 here on the second.
Look at this.
Yeah, there's a new look that came right in the last game of the first set, which she lost 6-2. You could see that she sensed that, you know, hey, I think I can do something. I think I can make something happen. You could read it in her face, in her body language.
Well, holding for 5-2, I think, was a big game for her.
Exactly. That's well played by Venus, and continuing to come forward with success.
15-30.
That's too good. Too good. Well played by Venus Williams. Getting command at the net. She has been able to take charge.
30-all.
30-all. For her part, Pironkova has not really made an attempt to come to the net. That's clearly not her thing.
Good.
High percentage of points won at the net by Venus, as you saw.
And so few women play at the net.
Right.
Men too, for that matter. But so that means that, you know, their passing games aren't being challenged. It's one more reason why Venus and her sister and so many other women should get to the net.
30-40.
Guess what? All these young players who hit the ball so hard and move so well, they're not used to hitting passing shots.
Right.
they don't have to.
They never see the target. Right. It's not there.
Especially like under pressure, you know, make them do it, you know, to close out a game, a set. Look at that. Came up with the goods there. Excellent. Excellent.
4-love lead for Pironkova. Venus Williams won the first set 6-2 rather easily, but you could see in the last couple of games that the youngster was gaining in confidence, and now she has the lead in the second.
Venus has lost some authority on her shots, hasn't she? Lost some length there. Taylor Dent upcoming. So too the American James Blake. Those guys both seeded. Maria Sharapova, who had 3 match points in the semifinals here last year, losing to Serena.
And you'll hear from Martina Hingis, who's one of the good stories of this tournament. There are so many good stories, especially on the women's side.
They really are.
That's just long from Pironkova.
Love 15.
Love 15. Pironkova serving at 4-love here on the second, trying to even the match. Forced the number 10 seed, a 5-time Grand Slam champion, Venus Williams.
Yeah, that's just not good enough. Venus of late has been coming into the net behind some pretty shady stuff and paying the price.
15-all.
And again, that's not to say that she should stop coming to net. She's just got to get in with more authority than that.
Yeah, that one was all around tentative. Her move and then the volley itself. And the youngster made her pay. 15-all.
Wow.
Ooh. Couldn't get set for that. Knocked it long. 30-15.
30-15.
Pironkova has stepped up her aggression in her game, and Venus now has got to step up her footwork. Didn't even get out of her own way there to hit that forehand. That's nicely done.
$30.
Nothing wrong with her forehand today, that's for sure. She's, I think, just two maybe I can recall that she hit badly. She's been very steady with it. Well,
again, not enough footwork.
Right, yeah. So that forehand goes well long.
40.
And a point from 5-love for Pironkova here in the second set. Backhand long, and it's a 5-love lead for the young Bulgarian. And the crowd expecting 3 right now. We'll be right back.
Think about your...
From Melbourne, you're probably a little shocked at this score. You would say, who is that Pironkova person? Well, Pironkova is how you say her name, and right now she's up 5-love in the second set against the number 10 seed, a 5-time Grand Slam champion, Venus Williams, who won the first set rather handily. But the young Bulgarian at age 18 has come on here to take this commanding lead in the second. Let's see what Venus can do at love 5. Packed house at the Vodafone Arena court. Tim Ryan and Mary Carrillo watching this first round action. Serena plays later today here at the Australian Open in her first round action. And it's love 15, a good solid backhand from Pironkova. First round action can be deadly dull, not exciting, and it can provide matches and moments like these where stars are in trouble. At least the third set possibility very much staring Venus in the face. Look at that pass.
Love 30.
This is just nothing but sweetness now from the Bulgarian.
Two points from evening the match. Second serve to look at. Second double fault, and a very costly one indeed. 3 set points against the serve of Venus Williams for Pironkova. It's long, good return from Venus. 1 set point saved.
Venus has gotten her serve up to 69% again, but there's not enough on it. Pironkova taking big, bold swings at him anyway.
So the second set goes to Pironkova. 6-love. How about that, folks? We've got a third coming up here for Venus Williams in the opening round of the Australian Open. Let's go to Chris Fowler. Okay, Chris, well, not too many folks would have expected a third set in this match. Let's face it, totally unknown. 18-year-old from Bulgaria, ranked number 94 in the world, and just a year ago was ranked number 295. And Venus now has to raise the level of her game to try to get to the second round of this Grand Slam tournament here in Melbourne. Solid backhand deep from Venus. Love 15.
Love 15.
Venus Williams broke Pironkova twice in the first set, and then was broken herself 3 times in the second set. So she's trying to get this final set back on track for herself. Nice aggressive start.
During that tournament in Istanbul where they last met, the only other meeting between these two, of course, they asked this youngster Pironkova what was her greatest thrill in tennis to that point. And she answered very quickly, "Oh, Paris, when I was in the under-13s. I won the under-13s tournament in Paris." So I think her, whatever happens here, this may turn out to be her most exciting match to this point in her young career. Well played. For 30 all. Well designed, well executed.
30.
I remember this one. That was one nutty match. Last time that somebody was able to beat Venus Williams 6-love in a set, 6 years ago at the French. Of course, when she lost to Cecil Karantancheva at the French Open last year, there was a 6-1 set in there to decide it. Can it be that 2 young Bulgarians are inside of 1 year are going to take Venus out of 2 majors?
That was good pressure there from Venus Williams.
That's a much better approach shot. She struck it well, she struck it hard, and she went right to the kid.
40.
So she had no room to maneuver and try to find an angle for that pass. With Venus's wingspan, you know, she's getting a little shaky on her approaches. She should just continue to do that. Make this kid come up with angles on her own.
Just long, and the break there, that's a huge break, especially in terms of the Bulgarian player Pironkova, because having dropped that service puts her in deep trouble here. Back at the French, this is against the other Bulgarian. Just absolutely drove Venus Williams crazy in this match.
But we mentioned she was just littered the court with errors, 57 in all, I believe, and the 15-year-old Cecil Karantancheva with the win of her life. Of course, unfortunately for her, she's out of the game now for the next 2 years because her drug test came up dirty from the French Open. She was retested again later in the summer, came up dirty again.
So this young Bulgarian now up against.
She's going to take a drug test after this one. Well, that's my guess. And I'm not suggesting anything except that you've just got to know that it's being taken so much more seriously now.
15 love.
15 love Venus Williams. Tremendous pressure on the 18-year-old now to get that break right back. Now, you have to like what Venus is doing, still continuing to come forward.
Yes.
She's been very consistent throughout the match.
But Tim, the quality of her approach shots dropped in that second
no
set.
question.
And her serving.
Is
I think everyone's subject to drug testing in all the majors, and then there's random testing.
30-15.
Double fault. Third by Venus Williams. 30-15. Crowd sensing the importance of every point. Now, most of them, I'm sure, hoping that the youngster doesn't wilt here in the face of the attack of.
Oh, boy.
Another. Wow, that was
30 all.
that was ugly. 4 now. 2 in this game. Just don't think of nerves being a factor in a situation like this with Venus Williams against an 18-year-old unknown.
But this is the risk you take when you come into a tournament cold. When you haven't played a tournament since September. I mean, this is the risk you take. Remember, Venus's sister, Serena, who skipped last year's French Open, came into Wimbledon, and you could tell she was in rotten shape. And she just assumed she would be able to play her way into the tournament. And she was wrong. She lost in the 3rd round there.
Break point, opportunity to even things and get back on serve.
It underscores what Martina Hingis says about how the pace of shot, like the game, is much more relentless than when she was playing. And that's going to be an adjustment she'll have to make to play very good-looking tennis early.
Her serve percentage at 64% now. And that's long, and there's the break.
That was a very jumpy-looking service game from Venus Williams. Very rattled.
On serve at 1-all, and a
He balls.
very shaky performance in that game by Venus Williams.
She's going to try to regroup here, Tim. This is, keep in mind, Venus Williams has won 3 Wimbledons, 2 US Opens. She's been ranked #1 in the world. She's playing against a kid playing in her first ever major. So you have got to assume that experience is going to kick in at some point in this final set.
One would think so. And of course, in terms of this young woman here, Pironkova, because she's got to be able to hold her nerves together here, and we just don't know if she's capable of that.
Pironkova thought that was out. Thought it missed wide.
15.
Close call.
Adel Aref in the chair is not going to overrule that.
I kind of like that she asked him, though. You know, some of those little things are good signs about where her head is. Well done. She's only been up there when she's had to go, but she came up with the play.
all.
Nicely done. 15-all. There's a loose forehand.
30-15.
Forehand error by
30
the Belgian player, the Bulgarian player, I should say. And again, you're looking to see if her nerves hold together in this situation. 1-all in the third. Just long.
(40-30).
Tsvetana Pironkova, a point from a 2-1 lead here. That's a good shot. Excellent effort and play by Venus Williams.
Deuce.
Packed house in the Vodafone Arena, and you can feel the tension in here. The crowd loves this stuff.
Correction was good.
It's an overrule. First overrule of the match, and it doesn't go Pironkova's way. She was hoping Adel Aref of Tunisia was going to overrule in her favor last game. So she's going to have a talk to him. We don't have Hawkeye on the Vodafone court today, so we can't give you a better look than this one right here.
And that was hard to call from our look at it there. Very close, and the chair umpire, Aref of Tunisia, calls it long. Miss hit. Right on the line from Venus Williams. And a break point.
Advantage Williams.
So often you'll see a young, inexperienced player, low ranked against a star player, start to rush in these circumstances. I like what I'm seeing here from Pironkova, because she's just keeping the same pace, keeping her cool. Way out. A wild backhand from Venus Williams there, back to deuce.
Deuce.
Another very loose backhand.
Advantage Pironkova.
Unforced errors for the match. The kid has got less than 10-9. That was Venus's 31st of the match.
Well done. Williams going after that one. The ball might even been out, but she made a really good play to hit that volley into the open court. And see where she was in the alley. Deuce again. 18 of 28 when she's gone up there to knock off those volleys. Another backhand long.
Advantage Pironkova.
It's not a confident look on the face of Venus Williams as she struggles now on both sides from the ground. And that's long, and Pironkova holds for a 2-1 lead here in the third set. And a somewhat upset Venus Williams. You can tell she's not happy with herself here. And this youngster playing with remarkable cool for number 95 in the world against the great Venus Williams. We'll be right back. The original architecture is still very much in evidence, and then there are the beautiful tall buildings of the modern era in the center core of the city, and you're seeing that view from the garden area just outside the Vodafone and the Rod Laver Arena. Venus Williams up against it here. 1-2 in the third set. Best of three, of course. Opening round action. And love 15. Tsvetana Pironkova from Bulgaria dropped the first set. You could just see a little glimmer in the last couple of the games of that set that she started to believe that she could compete against Venus Williams, and then she rolled through the second as Venus Williams' game collapsed completely, and she hasn't regained it yet. Just wide, and Mary, you made the point that
15
the number of events the two sisters play when they come out, kind of feeling, especially in majors like this, that they can just show up and win. It's clear that a lot of the younger players don't have the same kind of awe of them that they commanded for years. That aura, if you will, of the Williams sisters taking the court. Maybe that some of that's gone. What do you think?
Oh, I definitely think some of that's gone. That I think both Venus and her sister enjoyed a lot of that. You know, they had a lot of locker room wins.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Young kids didn't want to go out there and play them, and just wanted to make a good showing of it. That's just not true anymore. And look, we all say going in, we did it today.
30
Venus trying to remind herself to move, which I thought, and we were mentioning that, and I thought her footwork had gone away in that second set.
Yeah, you did.
You know, you have to play. You have to play enough matches so that your match tough things that you don't have to. You shouldn't have to remind yourself to move your feet in a major. I mean, that should be that's bedrock knowledge. But if you play as seldom as these two do, your ranking drops down. Their rankings now are, you know, scandalously low for who they are.
Right.
And it means that, you know, they're more vulnerable. A lot of we didn't, you know, we walked into this tournament wondering, you know, what we were going to get from Venus and Serena, and guess what? The players in the locker room feel the same way. Like, who knows how well they're playing? I'll give it a run. I'll give it a go.
Break point for 3-1, and a good deep serve. Pironkova should make a good return. But you know, I read or heard yesterday that, well, they've got each other to practice with, so they don't play, you know, these lead-up tournaments, but they get to hit with each other. Well, excuse me, it's a practice. That's what it is. It's a hit. And just because they're hitting against each other, I can't buy into that notion that some of that makes up for match play. There's a good solid overhead. And game point for Williams.
What continues to be true of both Williams sisters is how well they compete, even when they're not playing well. What they both know about each other is that even if they're dinged up and they're not physically fit or perhaps mentally, they'll always.
Third set at 3-2 on serve. It's 15-all with Venus Williams serving in the foreground. $15-30. Venus Williams wheels came off at the end of the first set. She prevailed there 6-2 and then dropped the second 6-love. This is opening round action in women's play, of course, at the Vodafone Arena. Opening day at the Australian Open. Chris Fowler detailed a few of the upsets that have occurred already, and the crowd here wondering if they're watching one. The number 10 seed, Venus Williams, against a complete unknown, number 94 in the world,
30-all.
Tsvetana Pironkova from Bulgaria with a lead here, 3-2 in the third.
That is what you face when Venus Williams is up at the net. It's hard to get it by her.
40-30.
Yeah, she wasn't going to win this little duel here.
She had her chance, though, and she knows it. That's why she got so frustrated, Tim. She just carved under that one a little too much.
She's not happy up there.
No.
No. I watched her in her warm-up. She's got some work to do up there. But all credit to this youngster here. She's still very much in the thick of it, playing her game. Williams, a point from getting even at 3-all. That was well played, coming back the other way to deuce.
And Venus knows she's got to start sticking those volleys more if she is going to continue her course of coming to the net, which, by the way, I applaud. She's got to do more. She can't be. And look, oh, that's a wounded look on her face.
Yes, yeah. Oh, I agree with you fully. I mean, you want her to keep coming to the net and doing it, because
she's winning almost 70% of the points from up there. So clearly, it's a good tactic for her. But she's got to be a bit more emphatic when she gets up there. She shouldn't have to be flailing around up the net, you know, making glove saves up there. It's beautiful. Beautiful.
break point. Pironkova.
And what Pironkova seems to understand is that you have got to take out the big seeds. You can't just hang around and hope that they lose it. You've got to go after them.
Yeah, she's been aggressive. No question. And she kind of built her way to that point in the first set, even though she lost it. You could see it coming the last couple of games of that first set. She's been aggressive totally since then. Longest point of the match. It goes to the youngster from Bulgaria and gives her a 4-2 lead here in the third. Tim Ryan and Mary Carrillo at the Vodafone Arena. The number 10 seed, five-time Grand Slam champ, American Venus Williams, won the first 6-2, dropped the second 6-love as this young Bulgarian, an 18-year-old, Tsvetana Pironkova, just took it away from her, and some sloppy play by Venus Williams in the second set that cost her badly here in the third now. The young Bulgarian has the lead and a break. Number 94 in the world from 295 at the start of last season. On the verge of an upset. As we have continued to say, because the facts bear it out over their brilliant careers, neither of the Williams sisters will quit. They will battle to the end, and this is an 18-year-old kid that Venus Williams knows she should be beating, so don't go away, folks, is what I'm saying.
Playing in her first ever major.
Her first ever major. With remarkable presence. It's going to stand her well in her tennis career. Always good. And a backhand miss. So odd. You know, the forehand is usually her troublesome shot. She was hitting it very well early in the match. It started to go off on her, and then suddenly the backhands let her down. There's that jump we mentioned here. She got as high as 88. She's currently 94, but what a leap, the biggest on the tour last year. Made a couple of semifinals on the Sony Ericsson WTA Tour, not major tournaments, but still beat a couple of good players like Shaughnessy and Smeshnova.
Well, there are age restrictions on the women's tour, which are very necessary to have in place, but we have seen it, and Maria Sharapova is the biggest example of that. They can start playing more tennis when they're 17 years old, and all of a sudden they get to play in more events, they get to compete more, and their games they rise exponentially.
There's a solid backhand down the line. No mistake there to 30 all.
30 all.
You've got some high drama here. You can feel it. The crowd knows it. They know what Venus Williams is capable of, turning things around in a hurry. But they wonder if she's got the stuff today against this formidable opponent who has just shown great presence of mind and spirit. They have played once before, Istanbul last year. Venus won handily, 6-1 and 6-3. That was the old Pironkova. Two nice gets. Can't get to that. 3 saves there, but Venus finally prevails on the point.
(30-40).
Break point to get back on serve.
Venus has been broken 5 times. Pironkova 3.
And there's the break for Venus Williams, back on serve, but down 3-4 here in the third and deciding set. Up 4 games to 3 over Venus Williams here at the Vodafone Arena. Opening round action of the Australian Open. Venus Williams just broke to get back on serve here. As we said, I would not recommend your tuning out here, because this is going to be exciting right down to the finish line, and see a full house enjoying this excitement and opening round action. So often you can just see you know, love and love, a top player against an unknown, ranked way down in the near the 100 mark. She's 94 in the world. 10,000 folks seeing a match that they probably didn't expect to be going like this. Williams serving now to even things at 4 all.
(15 love).
Tall, slender woman at 5'10", and she's been able to keep the ball deep. She doesn't seem to be tiring from the length of the 3-setter. attention there must be of playing a name player, a star like Venus Williams. These next few games obviously will be the toughest she's played in her young career. Wide, good example there. Good deep stuff. Keeping Williams back.
15 more.
15 all. I don't think Venus is going to plan any vacations in Bulgaria. She's now run into 2 of them here. Karatancheva in the French Open knocked her out of that last May. And even if she wins here, it's been a tough go. 30-15.
30-15.
Backhand.
That's got to be frustrating. That wasn't much of a backhand from Pironkova. It wasn't deep and it wasn't struck hard. Look at all the errors in this final set from Venus, and in all she's had nearly 50. The kind of numbers she put up in her loss in the 3rd round of Roland Garros last year to Karatancheva. More modest numbers all around from Pironkova, but she needed help from Venus to win this match. We said it early, and she needed for Venus, to give up a lot of errors, and Williams has done just that.
More than this youngster could ever possibly expect.
Please.
Break point for a chance to serve for the match, and there it is. Tsvetana Pironkova from Bulgaria in her first major, her first Grand Slam appearance. Ranked number 94 in the world at age 18, will serve for the match against a 5-time Grand Slam champion, Venus Williams.
Pretty snappy start to her Grand Slam career.
Wow, yes. Now again, we certainly allow for the possibility that Venus can turn this back her way. Let's see if the youngsters' nerves hold together and whether Venus Williams gets a little help, which she just did.
Love 15.
Venus has not lost in the first round of a Grand Slam since 2001.
That happened 5 years ago. That was again at Roland Garros, one of the titles, along with this one, that Venus has not yet won.
Well, love 30. A little wobble there, perhaps, by the 18-year-old. It's not like she's got a huge first serve as a weapon in this circumstance here. She's going to have to hit some balls. Draws the forehand error.
$15-30.
That was a good shot there. Pironkova. Solid angle, deep.
30 all.
Missed reply by Venus Williams. 30 all. Forehand miss.
30-40.
Williams, break point.
Keep in mind, Venus was down match point at Wimbledon last year in the final to Davenport and came through. Serena was down 3 match points here last year in the semis to Sharapova, came through and won it. And this is where you expect Venus to become Venus.
Well, they epitomize the "ain't over till it's over" phrase.
5 points. First serve.
Not sure what he saw there. Call a let nonetheless. May have been a beat from the Cyclops machine. We didn't hear it, but chair umpire did. He's the boss.
Let.
And that's just a regular let there. And the break for Venus Williams on the missed lob. 4 games to 5. She'll serve to stay in it. 10,000 devoted tennis fans in here at Vodafone Arena at the Australian Open Day 1 action, and action it has been here. The verge of an upset. Venus Williams, the number 10 seed, finds herself right there. But she has broken to get to 5-4. Will now serve to extend the match here in the 3rd set. Tsvetana Pironkova, a Bulgarian, 18-year-old, ranked number 94 in the world, her first Grand Slam event. She's never won a WTA event. 5 titles on the minor league circuit, the ITF, and 6 finals. She's been very good, obviously, at that level. Stepping up now at age 18 to the big time. What a start in her first Grand Slam. Boy, that was good play there by Venus Williams. Forehand and backhand groundies, moving her corner to corner. 15 love. Solid backhand deep. 30 love.
30 love. $30-15.
51 unforced errors for Venus Williams. That's good. Won't go. A point from evening the match.
Boy, that would have put Pironkova 2 points. If that had dragged over on the other side, it would have put her 2 points from the win. Instead, it's 1 point from even.
Wide. Venus Williams has evened the match at 5 games apiece here in the third. Well, as we said, you know, truly, it's not over till it's over. 51 errors, and here she is now with a chance to pull herself right back to victory after looking a defeat right in the face. And the youngster now is in a position where she can make no errors. Good shot there.
Love.
Just kind of keep expecting that the youngster is going to do something that exhibits lack of nerve here, and she's just not done it, to her great credit. Oh, that's just too good. Tremendous forehand drive from Venus Williams. A little extra on that one.
15 all.
She's tossed her racket lightly in frustration, this kid, a couple of times in this match. That time, the racket got blown out of her hand.
Yes. Yeah, there was a real solid forehand from Venus Williams with a lot of authority. 15 all. Good deep drives. Another one. That one's long.
$15-30.
That's the first sign of real frustration. Long rally, and it's her error.
15.
Williams can go up 6-5. Two break points, 5 all in the third. help from Venus there. One break point salvaged.
30-40.
Perhaps the first sign of a little bit of physical strain being exhibited too. No surprise. Grueling three-setter. All of the tension of playing in her first Grand Slam against current Wimbledon champion. Oh, bad loose forehand from Williams to deuce.
Deuce.
That's the gamble if you're Pironkova and you want to hit sort of a high loopy shot to Venus's weaker forehand side. It's a gamble if you don't hit it deeply enough. And that's just what happened to her. Venus was able to take a big old swing at it, force the error.
Third break point.
Cover over the ball, but don't lose your length on those.
Well, that's just too good from Venus Williams. She's got the break in a 6-5 lead in the third set. What a battle here. We'll be right back. To get in here, that's outside the Vodafone Arena. They're hoping that some seats will open up. It's fully packed in here, so they're not going to have much luck seeing the end of this match. But they are intrepid. Australian tennis fans, they'll settle for the next match. They can't get in to see the finish of this exciting battle between a total unknown from Bulgaria, number 94 in the world, 18-year-old Tsvetana Pironkova, in her first Grand Slam effort, and what a show she has put on, with a lot of help, obviously, from Venus Williams, the current Wimbledon champion, who has had 52 errors in this match and finds herself serving for the match to get into round two. And comes up with a good one to start.
15 love.
That's long.
15 all.
15 all. They played once before last year, a small tournament in Istanbul. Venus Williams won that 6-1 and 6-3. She wouldn't have had any idea who Pironkova was at that point. Been on the ITF circuit, the minor league, if you will, that young players work their way through to get to the Sony Ericsson WTA Tour. Look at that. Bulgarian women's tennis previously simply meant the three Maleva sisters.
15-30.
Then a 15-year-old Cecil Karatancheva came along and made a mark last year. Nobody knew about this player except those in Bulgaria, Tsvetana Pironkova, but she is making a statement here today. 2 break points to force the tiebreak.
(15-40).
Of course, in a Grand Slam, not a tiebreak situation. They'll play it out. Must win by 2 games.
Except at the U.S. Open.
Except at the U.S. Open. Here at the Australian, more tennis.
That's just a tremendous stab from Venus to keep this game alive. To have that kind of racket control on the dead stretch like that is something. At this stage of the match, and there wasn't much on that approach, so that's why she had to come up with a great volley. The better your approach is, the easier your volleys are. This kid is, again, continues to be very alert to her chances. Made Venus come up with the goods. Venus is still down break point. There it is, and it's 6-all. Now Pironkova has never before played in a Grand Slam match, and she's never before had to play on at 6-all. So it's only in 3 of the majors where you don't play a tiebreak to decide a set.
Wow, I mean, she just must be talking to herself. What has been going on? Now she's going over to the chair, perhaps to change a racket. And yes, that's what she's going to do. So we're going to play on here, 6-all. A little breather there for Pironkova, who surely can use it in these circumstances.
Never forget the last year where Steffi Graf was playing, and she was questioning, you know, how tough she was against all the young opposition. Her coach, Heinz Gunhart, said to her at the French Open, the last major she won, he said, "Remember who you are." I just always loved that he was able to come up with that kind of coaching advice for her. And she was able to beat Hingis there, win her 22nd major. Of course, she retired a few months after that, but this is what Venus has to do now. She's got to remember who she is.
Well, she's climbed out of things before, and she can certainly climb out of this one, but this is just a remarkable display by this young woman from Bulgaria, keeping herself together here in these circumstances and providing tremendous amount of excitement here in the first round, her first Grand Slam tournament.
And Tim, she's never played a match like this. And Venus Williams has played a lot of these. This is the most rigorous match that the kids ever played.
Certainly not with 10,000 people watching either, anywhere. But she's been
never this quality player, never these kind of sets on this big an occasion.
30-15.
This hit from Venus Williams, 30-15.
Thank you.
On a loose backhand. Just in the last game and again in this one, appears that not so much the mental fatigue. She hasn't shown any of that, but I think there's a little physical fatigue.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, Venus has played so many matches like this, and it's not true of Pironkova.
We were talking about the statement Pironkova is making. I have a feeling one of the statements she's going to make after this is, "I'm tired." This for a 7-6 lead.
I misspoke saying they'd be in a tiebreak. I think she would prefer to be in one at this stage than thinking about having to win by 2 games. And that's long, and the youngster from Bulgaria takes the lead, 7 games to 6. We've got... There's Venus Williams. Couldn't have imagined she'd be in this circumstance in the first round against this player she had played once before. She beat her 6-1, 6-3 when she was 17 years old. Pironkova, 17 a year ago in a small tournament in Istanbul. And here she is now, 6-7 in the 3rd set of this Grand Slam opening round action of the Australian. Serving to stay in the tournament. What's the kid got left? Well, there's the good aggressive play that she's tried to sustain throughout the match, largely with success. But
there you go. I mean, she's had about twice as many errors as winners. Broken 7. I mean, back in the day, back in her day, that would have been impossible.
Impossible.
Broken 7 times in a first round.
Yeah, no, that it simply wouldn't have happened. The service is not the old Venus Williams service. That's good stuff. Pironkova.
Chasing down volleys that, you know, were not emphatic enough, not put away enough.
She had real good pace on that last one, made Venus pay the price for not having the stick on the volley. 15 all. It's a good return. Pironkova wishing that one long, but I think she knows it was right there.
30-15.
Knocked her forehand long. She's broken her 7 times, so even in this situation here, you know, she's saying, hey, you know, I did it 7 times, I can do it again. Miss hit on the return, and the change of pace just draws another wild forehand, mistimed from Venus Williams to 30 all.
Putting Pironkova 2 points from the win.
That's a good serve, well placed. Now a point from 7 all here in the 3rd. That's long. So Venus Williams with a hold. More tennis.
But really,
7 games all.
this woman and her sister dance around the lip of a volcano more than any other champions I've ever watched.
No question. Venus Williams and this 18-year-old from Bulgaria, Tsvetana Pironkova, providing the tennis fans here 10,000 strong with a lineup outside, hoping to get a glimpse of this match, providing them with high drama in opening round action. First ever Grand Slam appearance by the young Bulgarian, ranked number 94 in the world. That's long, another loose forehand.
15 love.
15 love. 7-all in the third. Williams bageled in the second set. That was enough of a shock, and just as shocking that here we are at 7-all in the third. Ooh, that looked wide. Didn't matter, as that winner was a clean one from Pironkova.
30 love.
Well, it looked like it caught the outside of the line. Pironkova, she just wailed away anyway. That's the thing to do, and it paid off. Oh, she was in position for that one, Mary.
30-15.
Venus Williams joined the grunting midway through the point and raised the volume of it as they slugged away, but the youngster outlasted her, and it's 40-15.
40-15.
Gotta like this kid. Yeah, I mean, you can see what lies ahead for her, the potential that she has. Things still to add to her game, clearly, but she's just 18, and no matter what happens here, people are going to want to watch her play again. Point from 8-7. That's long. Pironkova, 8-7. Third set to see who gets to move on and into the second round of the Australia.
8-7.
Back inside, Tim and Mary.
Venus Williams serving at 7-8 here in the third.
15 love.
25-year-old veteran, current Wimbledon champion. It's long. What an angle on that get from Pironkova. She's playing at this level so long into this match.
It's very impressive, very classy performance from Pironkova, and it's that her footwork was good enough to get her in position for that big swing, that great angle. Well, look at her, she's still going hard.
Backhand miss.
For the second time, Pironkova is 2 points from the win.
15.
No question
30.
she is in great shape. Safe to say, an athletic family like hers, her father a champion canoeist. I mean, those people are in great shape. Her mother a swimmer. I mean, you know, she's probably never not been in shape in her life, and it's paying off here. She definitely knows how to paddle her own canoe. That's why.
30 all.
Boy, that would have given her match point. That had stayed in, that would have been match point. See if she can erase that thought.
Oh, a great serve from Williams, and then she just blows that. Match point, Pironkova. Tsvetana Pironkova from Bulgaria. It's okay if you've never heard of her. You have now, one way or the other.
30-40. Good, please. Please.
Second serve on match point. She steps farther in here now, almost 2 feet. There it is. The upset of the tournament to this point. 18-year-old Tsvetana Pironkova from Bulgaria, number 94 in the world, her first Grand Slam, sends a 5-time Grand Slam champion out of the Australian Open in the first round. We said earlier when asked what her biggest thrill was, they asked her that at the tournament in which she lost to Venus Williams last year at Istanbul. She said, oh, when I won the 13 and unders at a tournament in Paris. I think she surpassed it today. The Bulgarian flags are out, and I bet that there's a lot of hullabaloo in that country right now as the television is being watched over there. They've had the Maleva ladies before. They haven't had a men's star from that country in this sport. But they may have found a worthy successor to the Maleva family in this youngster. We'll see where she goes from here, but this is a win that will certainly be the highlight of her young athletic life. And a huge disappointment for the American star Venus Williams, out in the first round in Australia. So now you're her coach, Mary Carrillo. What do you add to her game here as we see Venus waving to the crowd and acknowledgement for her effort? The effort was there, but not the game today. What do you do with this kid to take her farther?
I say just keep going.
Keep going. Do what you're doing.
Yeah, obviously she can make her serve more of a weapon at 5'11". Yeah. She doesn't get that much purchase off of her serve, but boy, she knows how to fight, doesn't she?
Boy, does she ever. That's what we saw today. And next up, the winner of Burley and Granville, the American Laura Granville. And then in the rest of that piece of the draw, you can see she's got a chance to move along here. Lahovseva, always somewhat shaky, still an 18 seed with a lot of experience, but we'll see what happens to the young Bulgarian in round number 2. It was her day today against an erratic Venus Williams. And so all credit to Tsvetana Pironkova of Bulgaria. Pironkova from Bulgaria. That is just an extraordinary result over the Wimbledon champion, Venus Williams. And what do you think, Mary? How far can she go?
And tonight, in the first round, Serena Williams plays one of the 4 Chinese players in the top 100, Na Li. And she's very good. I mean, she's got a lot more credentials than this kid.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm not saying, whoa, Na Li right now, but you've got to know that now that, Venus is out of that section of the draw, a lot of times when one of the Williams sisters loses early, it actually helps the remaining sister because they know they don't have to, among other people, beat their own.
Exactly. They won't have to face each other. It's a tough loss for Venus Williams. Disappointing, but what a great triumph for the young Bulgarian. So more action ahead. Let's find out more about it from Chris Fowler.
All right, Tim.